Welcome to Emotional Support Water Bottle with Hannah and Ailish. I'm Hannah.
And I'm Ailish. Well, we had our first snowfall here. Did you get any snow where you are?
Well, I guess I did, but I was like in my son's room. So I
You
didn't
didn't
see
notice.
it. No. I know I was at work and they were like, it was blowing like crazy. I was like, it was? I couldn't hear it over the sound machine.
Oh my God. Well, yeah, because I work like 20 minutes away from where I live. And this morning there was ice and everything, and my car was all iced over. So I kind of like took my time getting to work and whatever. And I literally like get about 10 minutes out of town and nothing. There's nothing, not one
Like,
flake,
"Mm."
nothing. I'm like, guys, like it was kind of bad by me. I swear. It took me like 7 minutes to defrost my car. Like, yeah, it was. I hate that because I don't have a garage. So my car is just
Right.
outside and I'm out there scraping. But
Ew.
like, let's be real, I'm not doing a good job.
I know you just carve out the one spot so you could see.
I know. And then I just have the defroster on full blast, hoping
and
it'll
the
go work.
I know. Then the wipers.
Yeah. With the washer fluid. I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
want the snow. Yeah, no. I mean, I like the snow, but when it's just this in between, like nobody wants that.
I know, like, it's not really sticking and it's
Yeah.
just cold. And then we were just looking at the weather and now it's supposed to be warm on
Again,
Monday.
no, it's like this is when everybody gets sick. Guess what? I'm not letting it happen to me. Yeah,
I'm
but
sure I will.
you're not
I'm
sure.
always sick.
You know what? Some of my coworkers, they started taking zinc, and
I've
I
heard that.
have you taken it before?
No, the only time I did is when I lost my taste and
Oh,
smell during
yeah.
COVID. But no,
I
I've heard that, and they're supposed to be taking vitamin D too.
Yeah, I started adding zinc, and I don't know if it really has helped. Like, who's really to say what I've fought off and what I haven't? I don't know. But I think it's like the placebo. Like, I'd like to think it is helping.
Like, I can't get sick.
I'm taking my one zinc vitamin.
We are at my work. That's very popular that we recommend.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that's good. So maybe there is some merit to
I
it.
know, as I don't take it.
You don't listen to your own advice at all.
No, literally no.
I also finally decorated for Christmas, and I'll show my little tree over there looking cute.
Going with the white.
Yeah, the white with the white lights. I think I need some more bows on it. I'm missing some, but it was like I don't know, a one pack of bows that I bought, so it's not really enough. But I don't know. And then I decorated my mantle, and it's just like the same stuff that I do every year, but there's not really a theme. It's just like little
Mhm.
things that I like. But this year, when I put it all together, I just don't love it, you know?
I know sometimes you do get like bored. Like I did different stuff this year.
Yeah. But then I don't know where to get stuff because I don't want, the stuff that everybody else has that you just
Mhm.
get from like Target or something. And then I was even looking at some of their stuff, and to redo like my whole mantle, like I didn't even love everything that they had, or it was just
Mhm.
a selection at this point. So I don't know. what I'm gonna
Well,
do.
I took the kids to this Christmas store because I had it in my head that they have to get new ornaments every year, and so I wasn't gonna rest until it happened. And we didn't go to Frankenmuth this year, but I found this place called, I think it was, I don't remember what it was called, but it was a Christmas store in Swanton,
Hmm.
Ohio. And it was really cute. And they had these really cute, like, candy and like gingerbread house stuff there too.
Cute.
It was literally so cute. I was like, man, I want to redo everything in that, which I obviously am not going to. And actually, they had a lot of cute stuff in there. And it wasn't like that overpriced, but I liked it because it wasn't like going to Target or Hobby Lobby. Like it
Yeah.
was like other stuff. And like, yeah, it was a little bit more than what you would pay there. And I'm sure they don't have sales, but
Mhm.
it was still not that bad, I didn't think. And my one son picked out this really cute cotton candy ornament. It's so cute. And then my other son kind of somewhat picked out this dinosaur one, and it was so cute. And then my older one wanted a cardinal to clip on to the tree. So we've got
Oh.
a cardinal on the tree.
Oh,
I feel like that's
wait.
such an old person thing to do.
Wait, you know what is so weird? Because I always thought that like a cardinal was like a sign for the people in my family. Like my grandma loved cardinals, and we'd always be
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, look, there's a cardinal, there's grandma, whatever. And now it's like, oh no, everybody says that.
Everybody loves a good card.
Yeah,
We
like
decorate it
everyone
with
in
it
the
for
world.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I guess it wasn't special.
Felt that way
Yeah.
though.
No, that's cute. I do like to go to a World Market, which not that
Yeah.
they're not like a, individual cute
Right.
boutique store, but they always do have kind of more unique things that
Mhm.
I think are fun. So I don't know. I need to go there sometime. I don't know when because we're already in December and the time is just slipping away. So,
It's literally like 2 weeks till Christmas.
right. It's like
Oh, but I got all my Christmas shopping done, and
ridiculous. Like, come on. I haven't even started.
well, normally I'm freaking 2 days before, but I got it all done.
Like, what happened this year? Did you do like the Black Friday sales or something?
I went Saturday. Yeah, I did a little bit of online on Black Friday, and then Saturday I just got it all done. And
Wow.
then some of stuff like for my in-laws, we're like all going in together and like getting them like a weekend stay somewhere.
Oh, so that's nice.
Yeah, so that I didn't have to shop for that. And then I got the kids, unless I see some stuff if I go out. I think I pretty much got what I wanted to get them. I got them a lot of sharing gifts. So,
That's good. So then you don't have just like a million toys and stuff in the house.
mhm, literally. And I got games for the kids. Like I got Twister, Connect Four,
Okay.
and Jenga.
Nice.
So we got
Hopefully
some
they don't
games.
listen to the pod.
I know they might hear what I know. And I got the cutest wrapping paper. I did get it at Target, but it's like all candy themed. Like it's like candy and like the peppermint ribbon.
Yeah.
So cute. So I'm
I
excited
love
to.
getting my wrapping paper at Target though because they always have a really good selection.
I know. I was having a hard time picking what I wanted, and I'm like,
Mhm.
I think I like this.
Yeah, that was me last year, and I had to be like this little psycho that got like three different types of wrapping paper that coordinated, so
I
I
know. I
didn't have
love doing that.
everything the same.
I know.
But
And
it's
then I got from my, I know. And then I got for my nieces,
nice.
and we're done.
Isn't it? I mean, we've talked about this before with like us as adults for Christmas and stuff. It's like I don't know. Like, I think at this point, like, I mean, I don't even know the last time we got each other gifts and we just
Oh.
decided we were like, we'll do something together. And then we like never do.
I know it. Well, and then all of a sudden it's
Like March.
February.
I know.
I know. And then it's like, well, now what?
I know. This
How's
year,
our birthdays?
we really need to make an effort this year. And I think our goal should just be as long as we have it done by April, because that's
There we
the in
go.
between of our birthday.
Our birthday. I know, because I do want to go do that stuff, but
I
then
know.
it's just like never happens.
The time just slips away.
And I want my pampering.
Me
Well, this
too.
is tomorrow will be kind of like a little Christmas gift.
Yeah, it will. That'll be fun. We're going to the Suki Waterhouse concert in Cleveland, and we had talked about it. I can't remember if we talked about it on the
It's a
pod.
while ago.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
but um, yeah. I mean, I honestly like forgot about it, and then it was just like I think 2 days before you text me about it, I was like, oh wait, that's coming up, and then it was like this week.
This week.
Yeah.
You're like, ah. Well, and then the tickets were like, they weren't that expensive, but it was kind of like, I don't know, like by the time we do everything.
Well, because they do the stupid stuff where you end up getting slapped with all those
I
fees.
know.
And like, yeah, even with the fees, they weren't horribly expensive, but it was just like
It's like
you're
annoying.
basically doubling the price for these
Literally.
stupid fees that are a waste of everything. And then we have to drive to it, and then we have to get parking. Like it just felt like too much. But then Hannah had the smart
I
idea to look
found
it
them.
up on StubHub, and we found two resale ones that were cheaper and the fees weren't as bad. So it all worked out.
I know. Even though the fees were still, because the tickets were 21 each, and the fees were like 15
Yeah,
each.
that's crazy.
It's like,
Yeah, so tomorrow we'll get to the door and we'll be denied because
right. They're fake tickets.
yeah.
I feel like that just always makes me nervous. Like, I feel like it's like, and then you have to like download an app. So I was like messing around with that.
Did we get the same app? Was yours the AX?
Ax,
Yeah,
yeah,
Axis.
Axis or
Okay,
something.
yeah, because that's where the parking is too for
Okay.
me. So that's legit.
I know. Well, then it's like screenshots won't work. Your code refreshes every 60 seconds. Like, okay.
Well, hopefully something doesn't happen and I lose access to this app, like, or else we're
I know.
screwed.
Like, what if it doesn't pull up?
Yeah,
If we have like weird, anyway, whatever.
no,
But
we'll be fine. But I know it's just like such a like rigmarole to get
I
these.
know it's like, well, and then it's like, yeah, she's pretty famous and like has been, like she is pretty famous and stuff. But then like these shows are out of control
I
expensive. Like
know.
I mean, I guess like if that's your thing, like you don't, get iced coffee every day and you just do
Yeah,
shows, it's like okay, but it's like,
but
you know,
still,
and then you're so far away. It's like, what is the point of going to these shows anymore? Like it's just so outrageous. Like why can't we go to like this low key, you know?
new. Yeah. Well, that's what if we lived up that way, then it would be, better. Like we wouldn't have to travel as far. We wouldn't be getting back as late, whatever. But I mean, like, yeah, you're gonna, and then you don't even live like next door to me, so it's like there's just
Right.
a lot of traveling involved. But I would love to do that kind of stuff more often, but it's like something you have to just plan so much and you have to pay so much for it. So it's like, is it worth it at the end of the day? Like sometimes I don't.
I know, you're like, "Never mind, I'll just stay home and watch it on TV or
I'll
something."
just see your post on Instagram. It's fine. But
Literally.
I think it will be fun. It seems
No,
like
I'm
it'll be a
excited.
fun show.
Yeah, I'm excited to go. I think it feels kind of festive too. I don't know,
I
like, it feels
know.
whimsical and,
Yeah.
like, fun.
Yeah, it does. So, yeah, we'll have to post about it. Hopefully, remember. We're really bad
We'll
about
be too
that. I
mesmerized.
know, I know. But and it's the thing is with I think well, it depends on, like, when you get here, and I think we'll be able to leave, like, pretty quickly. Not that I wanna, like, throw you in the car and leave,
But
but
we should be able to do yeah, it should
yeah,
be fine to
because
do that, though.
I was looking at the ticket or the parking ticket, and it said that, like, our ticket is valid, 1 hour after the event, like, when we can scan it, and I'm like, "Okay, I think we'll be fine, like, it starts at 8, we'll be there." I know, but I'm like, "Oh god, what if something happens? Then we have to
I
worry
know,
about parking."
it's stressful. I know.
No, I think we'll be fine.
Alright.
Yeah, and if not, I guess we'll just figure it out.
We'll be fashionably late.
It'll be fine. So,
Anywho.
anyway, yeah. I really, like, don't even have a ton of, like I didn't even get to watch a lot of stuff this week. Like, I was 2 episodes behind on Beverly Hills, and I watched that, but, like, this week at work was just busy, and then coming off of the little break that I had
I
at
know.
Thanksgiving, I was just, like, so over it and exhausted. Like, I felt like I didn't even get to consume anything this week.
I know I didn't consume too much either because it was like I had us running all over the place last week because my husband was off, and so
Yeah.
we were, like, doing all these things, and then this week, I was like, I don't even know, like, I literally don't even know where I've been all week. But I will say, I'm gonna say something crazy. I watched Love Actually for the first time.
Are you kidding me? I didn't even know this.
I
You
didn't like it.
we got stuff. This
It's
is it.
horrible.
Hannah, it was
Okay.
horrible.
Well, I just didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. And I'm I know it's like kind of annoying or like controversial when there's like forced diversity, but this
Yeah.
movie could have had some of that because I couldn't tell any of these people apart except for like the known actors that I know. I'm like,
Really, it was like
everyone looks the
2000, what, 2 or something? When
they
was
all
this
look the
made?
same. I couldn't keep track of who was who.
I need to look up when this was. I don't even know when this
I think it was
movie came out.
2003.
2003? Okay, I was close. Yeah, 2003. I mean, diversity wasn't a thing back then,
No,
okay?
I know I'm just saying it could have benefited from that so I could tell
Tell
the
people
people
apart.
apart.
Okay,
I
here's
couldn't
the
tell.
thing. I think with this movie though, like if you would have watched it when you were younger, or like I don't even know the first time I watched it. I
There would have
It
been
definitely was
nostalgia with it.
2003. Yeah. But you would feel that nostalgia and you'd be like, "Oh, this movie." But since it's 2024 and you're, older watching it now, for the first time, I can see where you would think it's like kind of lame.
It wasn't it's like I didn't even really think it was cheesy. I just thought it was like sad
Yeah,
too.
it
Like
is. Yeah.
I don't want that.
It is
Yeah.
sad.
And I hated seeing Professor Snape being so awful.
Yeah. He was bad in it. He was a bad man.
But I did laugh so hard when he was trying to get the necklace for the
Yeah.
affair girl, and the
Yeah.
guy was Mr. Beans
Yeah.
was taking forever to freaking wrap it. That did make me laugh though.
That was funny. Yeah. But I think I mean, that's like prime Keira Knightley. Like, she's so
It is.
beautiful.
I know she was adorable. I wish there could have, like, I think that's what I also didn't really like either is that I wanted a little more of the other storylines.
Yeah.
Like, they spent a long time on certain ones, but I would have liked to have a little bit more of that because he was like, I wish we could have like developed that relationship a little bit more. The guy was secretly in love with her,
Yeah.
but
I like the guy that goes to America to,
Yeah, that was
find out
hilarious
the hot
too.
girl, and
No,
then
that
he
was
does. Yeah.
I know, and then I thought that was just gonna be like a dream sequence, but then it was like real. It was kind of hilarious. Yeah, so
I
there's like
know.
those funny parts, but then the super sad parts, and
It
it's
is,
like,
yeah, it's a sad movie,
likey.
but it's, like, kinda sweet, like, everything all kinda comes together, like, I do like those types of
I
movies
like those types of movies too.
where, like, yeah, you don't know, we didn't know that, um, the prime minister was related to that
Right.
whole family that was at the, like, what is that? Emma Thompson, right? Is
Yeah,
like, we don't realize that. Like, I think that that's so fun. It all comes together at the
I
end.
know. I do like movies like that. And I like the little like airport montage at
Yeah,
the end with like all the families getting together for Christmas. Like I thought that was really cute. And
but
the
you just hated
singer,
everything else.
everything else. There was like in that long movie, there was like 15 minutes I liked. And Emma Thompson was so freaking cute
Yeah, she was cute.
in that movie.
I know, she's adorable. Her Joni Mitchell. I can't even think about or hear anything Joni Mitchell without thinking of that movie and how sad it was and her crying in the room playing the CD. It's so sad.
I know. But anyway, so that was like crazy thing I wanted to say.
That is wild. I didn't know what you were gonna say, but I was not expecting that.
That I never seen it and I didn't like it. But
Yes.
it really is kind of annoying though, because there are so many classic movies that I end up getting like disappointed by because of the way everything is now. It's like you can't even enjoy anything because
Yeah,
you have this like censored
I know. Or when you
perspective.
hear so much stuff too, or like you'll
Yeah.
see it all over TikTok or social media elsewhere, and they'll be like this the completely like polarizing views of like, oh my god, I
Mhm.
love this movie, it's a classic, and then the people that are like ripping it to shreds. And then
Yeah.
you're kind of like, well, wait, what do I feel? Like, is this good? I don't know.
You're
I
like, did I have
thought
a
I
bad
liked
day?
it. Yeah.
I know, and it was like I know that was a classic one, and I had been wanting to see it, but
See?
it's like I didn't like it, but I do think it had charm. Like there
Yeah.
was still stuff that I liked in it, but
It just wouldn't be like your go-to Christmas film.
no. But on that flip side, I like one that everyone hates for Christmases. So
I like Four Christmases.
that movie, I think it's so freaking funny. Like
It
I
is
still
funny.
laugh at it.
Yeah, I do too. I think in recent years, I've watched that like every year.
Yeah, it's like one of my freaking favorites, and I love that it's like all one day and
Yeah,
like
and I think, Vince Vaughn and Reese Witherspoon's dynamic is so good together.
I know, and people are like they don't like that, and I guess those 2 didn't get along on set and stuff, but I thought it was such a, like, realistic couple,
Yeah,
like,
I think so too.
it was so like, I just thought it was I think that movie is so freaking
Me
funny.
too. I love how like the both sets of parents are divorced and they could not be more different. Like
I
they're
know,
all extremely different experiences.
like, it's so amazing, like, I love that movie.
You know what
So
other movie that I but it's also so freaking hard to watch is The Family Stone.
oh my gosh, I know. Gosh, that one is just freaking ugh,
Like it makes you want
it
to crawl out of your skin.
it does, that part. Like, at the dinner table when she's talking about, like, the gay son, it's
Yeah.
like, "Oh my god, I wanna die." Like, I
Like,
wanna
Sarah Jessica Parker and the whole thing, you're just like, "How did you play this role?"
I
Like,
know, it's but, like, I feel like the more times I've watched it, the more I've appreciated how gosh, that one's,
yeah, it's and there's so many layers to that movie too.
there
Like,
is,
there's
like, it's
so
so
much
good.
going on.
And then when she got them the picture of the
Yes,
mom, it was the sister
I
in
know.
the belly. Uh, did you ever watch the one, with Kristen Stewart?
No,
That
that's it's
was
like
just
semi newer, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
the happiest season. That one's kinda got to me like a similar vibe to that movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one.
I actually liked it, but the characters are bad. Like, the one character is, like, sucks, but, like, in a good way. Like, it reminds me of The Family Stone where everybody's kinda like
Well, yeah, because Rachel McAdams kinda sucks in that one. She's like
yeah,
such a and I
it's
like it that
awful.
movie too because, like, that is so not the role that we see her in usually.
No.
So, it's just, like, fun to see her doing something different and to not like her 'cause even when she was Regina George, you, like,
I
liked
love her.
yeah. You know what is kind of a cute, newer Christmas movie? Like, I definitely wouldn't say this is like a classic or anything. I think it came out last year or the year before, but it was with Dan Levy and it's Good Grief. Like, it's actually
Oh,
a cute movie.
is it? Because 'Cause I've seen that, like, in passing, but I've never,
Yeah,
um
and I don't know if you would I mean, I would say it would be like a holiday film because it kinda starts with it being at a holiday party and stuff, but the
mhm.
whole movie doesn't take place over the holidays, it's, like, over a period of time, but I liked that movie. I thought it was just, like, good, and it was funny at times, and it was something different.
Yeah. Huh, might have to check it out.
Yeah, I think it was on Netflix. It
Yeah,
might
I
have
think
been
that's where
a
I've
Netflix
seen
original,
oh boy.
which usually those aren't great, but
No, but they've been freaking popping out the Christmas movies all over the
well,
place.
Lindsay Lohan has moved from her, like, Lifetimey films to Netflix, and she's just popping them out.
I know. I wanted to watch her new one because Ian Harding's in it from Pretty Little Liars, but I haven't yet. But I think I probably will end up
The
watching
thing
it.
that is just annoying is, like, I just don't really enjoy those type of movies, like, the ones
Yeah,
that it's like there's not a lot of substance, you know exactly what's happening, like, I just can't get into those.
I know. I can't that much either. But what I do like about like just holiday movies in general, even if they suck, you can watch them in front of like your
Yeah,
kids.
that's
And
true.
it's just like kind of nice to put something on that doesn't have like
You have to
all the
worry.
nudity and the language, yeah, and it's like, "Oh, no, a kiss," but
Yeah.
that's fine. So sometimes I do like to have, like, a dumb movie on like that.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. My dad, will always like, he'll be such a sucker for, like, a stupid Hallmark
I
movie
know, just
that
have them
he'll
playing.
yeah, and he'll be like, "Yeah, I know exactly what's gonna happen," and then we're just, like, making fun of it the whole time, and then I'll be like, "Okay, like, that's enough, let's change it," and he'll be like, "Well, just wait a second." I'm like, "Oh, okay." You're like,
I
now
know.
you wanna know what happened?
Like, let me just make sure I'm right.
Yeah.
But then it's like, I love, though, the clothes in the movies, like the coats and
I
like
know, but doesn't it kind of piss you off because they're always in these cute little
I know.
hometowns? It's like, oh, okay.
I know, or like they're a Christmas tree farm
Yeah.
family, and they're coming back from the city, and then they have to fall in love with their high school sweetheart that got away.
Yeah, it's like, oh, wow. That's so cute.
Love that for you.
I know.
When in reality, if you live in the Midwest, it's so freezing cold that you can't even see yourself. You have 65 layers on, and you're
I
like,
know.
forget it.
You're not freaking going outside, like, to
You
just
know,
take a
and
winter
looking cute.
stroll. Yeah, yeah,
I have to be practical.
I know. Like, I am bundled up. You can't even see me if I go outside in the wintertime.
I know.
So funny.
Um, I started the book Verity.
Oh, yes. How's it going?
I'm pretty intrigued so far. I'm not super far into it. I think like maybe like a fourth of the way through or something, but I'm very intrigued and I decided to give Colleen Hoover's writing another chance.
I know you weren't too sure, but you jumped back in.
I know. Yeah, I'm actually it's not bad so far. Um, I I couldn't figure out who Anne Hathaway is supposed to play though in
Mm.
this movie. I don't know, but like she fits the one character's description, but then she almost seems like a little too old.
Well,
Not that she
honestly,
looks
Hannah,
old, but
who knows? Because the casting decisions aren't always the most accurate, but it turned
no.
out okay.
Oh wait, she is playing Verity, so she is playing the older one.
That's the
Okay,
name of the character?
it is.
Interesting, okay.
But we don't know who's playing the other girl yet, so that's fascinating. Anyway, okay.
Yeah, that is interesting. So you think it's pretty good so far?
Yeah, it is. I'll have to. I'm not sure how it's gonna end, but I will update
So
and let
is
you.
this, I can't remember. Is she reading it, Colleen Hoover?
This I'm actually physically reading.
Oh, you are? Oh yeah, you did
And
send me the picture of it. Yeah. Did she read the other ones though?
no,
Oh, okay.
not the it ends with us and it
No,
starts with us. But those are the only ones I've done of her, so I don't know if she.
has read others.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think it kind of is a lot. I mean, it's no joke to read those audiobooks. It's a lot of reading.
It really is, especially if you have a ton of books and you're like the author or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
I
That
know
would
every
be,
once in a while I'll come across a book where that's not a memoir that the author reads, but a lot of them don't.
it's probably honestly easier for them to just pay somebody.
I know, like an actual like, because remember that one time I told you I was listening to one and she was like part of SAG-AFTRA or
Yeah.
whatever. So
Yeah.
it's probably easier just to employ those people. And I've definitely had the same narrator a couple times in like different books.
Mhm. Well, when you're
I'm
good,
like,
you're good.
yeah, it's like, heck yeah. Especially when they have that specific, like, good voice for these different
Yeah, because sometimes when we read the memoirs or listen to the memoirs, we're like, "Oh god." Like, I don't think I would be good to read my own book if I wrote one.
No,
Like, nobody would wanna listen to my voice.
no.
We know
I know,
because
and I
people have commented that.
they don't enjoy our voices. Mm. But, yeah, I know, I wouldn't really wanna read mine just because, and I'd be embarrassed, like,
Yeah,
I couldn't read my own words, like, they'd have to be written down and I never go back to them.
I know, right? Like, I never wanna see him again.
Literally.
But no, that's good. Yeah, definitely keep us
Yeah.
updated about
So
it.
far, so good, so
Good. One thing I forgot to say, this has nothing to do with like books or media or anything, but just thinking about like the winter time. So my apartment, like the windows in my apartment are pretty just cheap. They're not very good. And so I just finally decided to try that like film that you put over your windows. Like, have you ever done
Mhm,
that?
mm-mm.
It's like, what do they call it? Weatherproofing. And
Yeah.
you like take this like plastic wrap almost and you put it over your windows and you take a hair dryer and heat it so it like will really like contract on there and make a good seal. And I've had my dad did it for me, admittedly. I think if I would have done it, it would have been a disaster because there were some adjustments that we had to make. But I think it really makes a difference. And I don't think
Nice.
you have that problem because yeah, the windows at your house seem to be pretty good. You don't have drafty windows.
No.
but mine were very drastic. And I've lived here for like, I think this is the 5th year and I've never done anything about it. And now I'm like, wow, like the heat is staying in here so well.
It's so cozy.
It's like ridiculous that I never did that before.
But I probably wouldn't have thought to do anything about it though. Like if I was in my own an apartment, I probably wouldn't have done anything either.
Yeah, I know. The only reason why I really did was because my coworker, she lives in like an old house, and so her windows are just like, old windows too.
Right.
And she was saying how she does it, and I was like, you know what, maybe I should try that this year. Like, I wonder, like, does it actually make a difference? And she's like, yeah, it makes a huge difference, and it cuts down on my like heating bill and everything. And literally, like my dad, so he put up the plastic on the window like before we fully stuck it on there and took the hair dryer, and there was such like a draft that the plastic was being sucked onto the window, like that
Dang.
much air was coming, like that hot air was escaping. So I think it makes sense,
So do you
but
just peel it off at the end or
yeah,
you
like
leave it on?
we had to, because my blinds were, like, sitting inside my, like, window frame, and so we
Mhm.
had to take those out and put them on the outside, and then the film just kinda goes around the frame of your window, and then you can just peel it right off at the end.
Hmm.
So, yeah, but I can, it's been windy the last couple days, and I can hear the wind whipping through there, like, pushing on the film.
Yeah, it has been terribly windy.
I know, it seriously has. It's just been a little blustery winter's days over here.
Literally. I change subjects, I guess again.
Yeah, our transitions aren't great today.
I was listening or Ashley Norton, I've brought her up before. She makes like funny nostalgic-y YouTube videos and she did like a quicker like 20-minute one on Travis Kelsey's dating show.
Oh,
So I
yeah?
had to watch it. And it was literally I guess you would put there was like a girl from each state would get
What?
or got picked. And so you'd have like they'd have shirts on that said like Arizona or whatever your state was. And then it was like, whatever they kind of like went by that name, even the girls would until like it got to less people.
So kinda like a Flavor Flav thing.
Yeah, pretty much. They're like Nebraska.
Yeah.
Um, and they did this really weird thing where he would pick the girl, or wait, well, how was it? Or the group Or maybe it started with the group would pick somebody to go on the date, and then or maybe it was him, I can't remember, it was really weird. So anyway, let's just say it was he picked a girl, and then she got to pick who went on the group date with them.
Oh, that is weird.
That's what I thought too, and then it was kinda like, do you pick the weaker girls, that way you stand out, or do you take your friends
Yeah,
with you? So that was like a whole thing.
that's interesting.
And yeah, I thought that was really weird, but that was like the main parts that I was like, ugh.
So did he end up actually dating a girl, the
It
winner, for a
sounded
little
it
bit?
sounded like towards the end, yeah, he did for a little bit they dated, but
Oh,
it didn't
interesting.
last, obviously.
Isn't it weird how he had this strange little flash of fame?
Yeah, yeah, because it was like I vaguely remember seeing ads for that,
Me too, because it was
but I
E,
haven't
right?
heard what?
It was E? It was the E
Yeah.
show? Okay.
Yeah, I just vaguely remember that, but then I hadn't heard of him going. I'm not like into sports or whatever, but until like the Taylor Swift thing.
Yeah.
It was like, so he's been, and I mean, he must have been pretty dang young when he
Yeah,
did
he
that
must have
dating
been.
show.
'Cause he's
Um,
yeah, he probably would have been, what, like 24 maybe, probably?
I know, I kind of want to
New
look when
guy?
that was on.
'Cause I remember it too, but I never watched it, and I
Yeah,
don't
and I
even
never
know
would have.
if I knew who he was. Well, I did because of UC, but, like, I don't know if I knew him as a UC alum, not as somebody on the Chiefs.
Right. I know, and it was kind of so it was in 2016, so that would have been
So that would have been, what, 8
ye-
years ago? And
so what
he's
is he
what?
like 34
Yeah,
times
so
8, so it would have
yeah,
been
20 well,
6
yeah, 26.
ish.
Yeah,
Yes, that's pretty young to be like doing
yeah.
that.
That it is weird that he had that. I wonder, like, how that opportunity came to him.
Literally, and like what I mean, I'm sure the girls were just like getting things from their agents.
Yeah,
But like I bet the North Dakota girl was they probably weren't even actually from the States now that I'm thinking
probably
about
not,
it. They're
yeah. And
it's just random.
they're just like, "Oh, a hot NFL player, like, I
Yeah,
can
it's like,
be
sure, I'll do
a
this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, why would you not?
I know. I just wonder how they like heard about that
I
show. Because it
know.
wasn't like it was a second season or something. It was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, it's interesting. It's
yeah.
his trajectory is so wild. Like, I just think about that sometimes. Like, okay, obviously athletically, like, that's his main profession and he's just gotten better in that. But when you think about, like, he had that little dating show and then he kind of went out of like the pop culture realm, and then he and his brother got that podcast and they kind of started
Yeah.
like gaining traction and they were funny. And then next thing you know, he's like shooting his shot with Taylor and then that spins off. And now it's like this whole thing. Like
I
he
know.
and
He's
Jason
doing
are
those
everywhere.
I know, and he's doing those that other show, or
Yeah.
he's in that one scripted show, and then he's has that some kind of
Like
whatever
smarter
game
than a
show thing, something.
celebrity or something. I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah. Yeah, he was in that like grotesserie with Ryan Murphy and then that show. Yeah, it's just like, what the heck? This is what it's just wild to think about. And you just think about like the industry plants and stuff, and you can't deny that like people aren't pulling strings and this is all like according to somebody's plan. Because
Right.
how does somebody like that just all of a sudden, when they're in their like early to mid 30s, just become so famous? Like, how does that
Mhm.
happen?
I know, it's wild.
It's just, and like you look at all these other like football players and stuff, like there's no chance that they get the type of fame that he has.
Right, and then even, like, when he had, like, that dating show 8 years ago, it's like, why did they pick him for that
Yeah.
versus anybody else unless he was having, like, a moment that we just didn't even
Didn't know.
realize?
And maybe he was, I don't know.
I know, because there's so many different athletes that
Yeah.
would be like, I don't know, a candidate for something like that, but I don't know if it's because 'cause he's got, like, really good charisma and maybe
Yeah.
he's easy to work with or
Yeah, I don't know. It's just it's interesting. Like
it
it's
is.
just so wild. Like that's where I just would love to hear like just to be on the inside for just a minute and just to hear some of these conversations and like what are these agents talking about? Like I just would love to know.
I know, right? Like, what can we get for this person?
Yeah,
Like
I know. I know. But speaking of like kind of the insider stuff, did you see how the movie Moana 2 came out and like shattered all the wicked numbers
I
from
did.
the
I
opening
did hear
weekend?
it's like,
Like that
dang.
was insane.
I know, well, I was literally just watching this video, that this YouTuber Smokey Glow was doing, and she was talking about Colleen Ballinger and, like, all that stuff, but she was talking about when you gear something towards kids, it's like you have the best audience ever. And like the Paul brothers would do that, even if their stuff wasn't necessarily geared towards children, that was their audience.
Yeah.
And when you have that, like they're so intense
Yeah.
and loyal. So it's like it totally makes sense if something like that, a kid movie, it's like they have to go see it. And the parents like those movies, and it's like,
I know. And especially over that Thanksgiving weekend, like Thanksgiving and Christmas weekends are such big movie
mhm,
times. And because people are just like, oh my God, we can't do this anymore. Let's get the kids out of the house, and go to the
mhm.
movies. But the thing that's like crazy about Moana to me is that like, and I don't know, maybe when you saw Wicked, I don't know if there was a preview for it then or not. Probably not, because they'd be like pretty
I think
competitors.
I think there was actually,
Okay.
'cause
I
I thought it had already came out, and then I saw the preview and I was like, "Oh,
I
it's
didn't
not."
like see, and not that I'm not watching a ton of kids content, but like I didn't see really much of anything from Moana 2.
No, I didn't either. I didn't see my because like I said, I had thought it already came out because I had heard stuff about it before, and I thought, and I don't know if I saw something on Disney Plus, maybe it was just saying like, "Oh, this is coming out." I thought it meant
Yeah,
it was coming to the streaming,
yeah.
but I haven't really seen much either, and it's kind of funny where like with Wicked, because it's like, I linger on a TikTok or 2 of
Mhm.
Wicked, but I wasn't searching it out, and I mean, it was TikTok after TikTok after TikTok, just shoving that in our face to go see Wicked, but there was none of that. Like, Disney almost doesn't have to do that.
I know.
It's like you say Moana 2, they're there,
Yeah.
like,
Right, I
it's
know, 'cause
fascinating.
yeah, it's the franchise and, like, the kids just love it, like and like you said earlier, like, with kids content, like, parents know, "Oh, this movie is gonna be safe," like, it's a safe bet. I don't
Yeah.
have to worry about whatever, like, I know I can bring the kids and they're gonna have fun and I'm gonna feel comfortable. So, I mean, yeah, I think it's kind of a no-brainer. But it is wild. I heard that it was originally going to be a series, and then they
Mhm.
kinda, like I don't know if it was fully last minute, but it seemed like it was kind of a last minute decision. They decided to make it into a movie instead, and when I was listening to The Town, they were saying how you can kinda, like, if you know that it was supposed to be a series, you can see where the episode breaks would have been, and I thought that was really interesting that they,
That
like
is funny.
like, I don't know if I've ever known a movie that was supposed to be a series, and then they just literally
No.
moved it and changed it into a full-length film.
I know, which is kind of funny. I feel like you could get away with that more with an animated thing because
Yeah,
they can kind of be like jerky anyway, because
yeah,
it's like kids. There doesn't have to be
yeah.
smooth transitions.
I know, but I thought, yeah, I mean, I Moana was a cute little movie. Like when it comes out on Disney Plus, I'll probably like watch it at some point.
I know. I think I'll definitely will when it comes to streaming too, because and that movie's so like the colors in that
I
movie are just
know,
so good.
I know. But I just thought it was wild. We were talking about, just how much Wicked made and stuff last week, and then literally Moana 2 comes and just shatters their records. It's like, oh wow.
With no effort. It
Yeah, with
just like
literally no effort, like
boom.
minimal press and
I
everything.
know they weren't sending the actress out to do all this press like they've been
Like,
doing to Cynthia.
that's what you think too, because you were saying how expensive the movie was to make. But then think about they had to fly everybody all around. I mean, they're not paying for that themselves. And I know
No.
that they're like, they're not like buying all the outfits that they're wearing. They're just like borrowing that stuff. But still, like, they are having to pay all the stylists and
Hair
do
and
all this.
makeup, yeah.
Yeah, it's like they're spending a lot more on this press tour than, we would even think of.
I know they talk about that on the Horror Virgin a lot, where they're like, we don't know what they spent in ads. So
Yeah,
it's like we don't really know the true budget
like,
of these
what is the
movies.
marketing budget?
Yes, yes, because
I know this
this
one.
one, I mean,
Oof.
crazy.
I know. I know. I hope that Wicked does come on some sort of streaming that I'm able to watch it at some point because it would be fun to see, but I just, been wanting to go to the theaters to watch other movies and I just haven't been. So I don't see myself like going to see Wicked at this point,
Right.
you know? And I think it's a movie. I think I said this last week that I would want to like maybe I'll half and half it so I don't have to sit through like the whole long thing. I can just,
Mhm.
split it up. But yeah, now that I fully understand after you broke it down for
What's going
me.
what's going on?
Yeah.
Well, and I guess they have already filmed part 2 because that was the
Yeah,
part I was confused about, but I don't know when are they releasing that then?
I would think it would be like next year, but maybe
How
I don't know.
how long have they been working on this movie? Like,
Forever, because
my
that has gotta be, like, 2 years ago that we first started seeing stuff.
well, and that just proves that they were having an affair on set
Oh, I
because
know. For sure.
they could say whatever they wanna say, but there's you were not starting to film that
No.
thinking you were gonna you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I know. Well, did you hear
End
that
your
too?
marriage.
Yeah. Did you hear that too, where they were saying, allegedly they had told Ariana and Ethan Slater to kind of like stay away from each other on the
I
press
did
tour?
I
Yeah.
did.
Oh, because they just don't want to add that layer of drama. And really, we've only seen like a couple pictures of them interacting with each other at all.
I know it's giving Harry Styles and Olivia
You
Wilde.
know?
No, the only thing I've seen is them, like, talking about each other, but it's almost in, like, that, "Oh, I like my co-star" type of thing,
Yeah.
but
Or there was that one picture where she was like, I don't know, was she fixing his tie or doing something
right.
like that? And everybody was like, they embrace on the red carpet. It's like, okay.
Mhm.
But because we're so starved from any other type of interaction,
Literally, they're like
they're just
but
staring at each other. That's it.
I know.
But yeah,
Hmm.
I don't know. I wonder if that would have, I don't think that would have made any type of difference really with the outcome. I mean, I think she and Cynthia really stole the show with all their looks and their
Mhm.
emotional meltdowns. So,
Their hangry moments.
yeah, they're just like deprived bodies trying to make it through the press tour.
Those poor things.
I know, I know. I saw a picture that where Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds went to go see.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I knew how small, Ariana Grande was, but I guess I just didn't realize that Cynthia Erivo was that tiny too, like, short, and then I
Mhm.
saw the picture with Blake Lively, and I was like, "Oh my god, Blake's a monster, like, she's so tall."
Well, and then Ryan Reynolds looked for because Blake looks tall, and he's, like, towering over
Yes,
Blake.
I know.
Like, how freaking tall is he? I don't even know if it's
I don't
accurate,
even
whatever
think
it
he is
says.
that tall. Like,
I'm
I
looking.
would be shocked if he was, like, 6'2".
It says 6'2",
Well,
and Blake Lively is 5'10".
I mean, they looked like giants.
They did. No, they really did. But even, like, this picture, it looks like he's tower he's, like,
Over the
towering over her,
yeah,
and then with, you know,
and I mean, she could have
Ariana.
heels on, but still. It was just that was insane with the two of them in the center. I was like, "Oh my god. Like
I know.
this is comical."
They be small. Yeah, here we go.
They're just going to blow
I
away.
know, and they're, like, in heels and everything.
I know. You can't even see them. Like they're children. They're children.
Literally. Yeah, because even this, like, group picture but that Ethan's that
Yeah.
Ethan Slater looks quite a bit taller than Ariana too, and he looks very small to me.
Yeah, he does.
But
A
yeah. Did
small
you
man
it
in
was
any sense of the word. Mm.
smallest man who ever lived, if you ask me. What was I gonna say? Oh, I also thought it was kind of weird that they had like a sleepover with the Kardashians, Cynthia and Ariana. Did you
I
see
didn't
that?
see that.
They had like a full sleepover thing. I don't know if they really slept over to like watch the
The
movie with all
movie?
of them. Yeah, and they were like in pink
Didn't
and green pajamas.
didn't the Kardashians do that with somebody else too for another
They
movie?
might have.
I kind of remember that, but I have no idea what it was
It's
for.
just like, and then I'm like, did they just take a picture together or did they literally sit there and watch them?
I mean, that's another form of press that they're doing.
I
Like,
know,
what
like
kind of
freaking
deal
hanging out with
did
the
they
Kardashians.
make for that?
Yeah. Like who got all the, catered it.
Yeah.
And then I wonder if it was awkward must not have been for Kim and Ariana since
With
they're Eskimo sisters.
with the most random man
Mhm.
like
I know,
you would never expect.
literally. And I was thinking too how he dated Margaret Qualley and like
Oh yeah, he did. He got all these babes.
literally.
He's been flying pretty low recently. We haven't heard
Yes.
much,
No.
but yeah.
Anywho.
Anyway,
Hi, everyone.
Hey!
This is Also Podcast. I'm Alicia.
And I'm Meredith.
We're unapologetically full of opinions on books, podcasts, food, and reality TV.
Join us weekly for deep dives on Vanderpump Rules and Summer House, as well as pop culture news, gossip, and even our own lives.
Actually, I have to talk about this.
3, 2, 1.
I wanted to say just about like I know that you aren't watching Salt Lake, but did you hear all that stuff about Mary Cosby's son and like going to rehab and they've been talking like, oh, this coming episode is going to be so emotional. Did you hear any of that?
Not really.
Okay, well, Mary Cosby is, a very polarizing figure because she was
Do
like
know that.
cult leader basically, and I think she's pretty awful. Like she's not really that nice of a person, and she's very eccentric. But her son Robert Jr. is like 21, and he isn't featured on the show very much. But then he had this weird thing where last season he like got married to his girlfriend. Like we're not even really sure if that was real. But anyway, in the bit that we've seen him this season, it's been clear that he's like been under the influence of something, but like nobody really wanted to accuse somebody of that because obviously that's horrible. But then it came out that like, yeah, he did go to rehab. And anyway, this episode, like, it didn't seem staged to me. Like it felt really real. Where like she and him sit down and like she finds out that he's been addicted to like all these different pills and drugs, and like she's just shocked, and then they're trying to find a way forward. But what I wanted to talk about was I was listening to this. Oh, actually, I think it might have been on Juicy Scoop, and they were like, or maybe it wasn't, it doesn't matter. It was some podcast. And they were like, I mean, he's just like a kid and I don't know if it should be on there. I'm like, he's 21. Like, he isn't really a kid. And I don't know if I would like to go back and see this time that probably wasn't a great time in my life on TV. But like, if that's like the wake up call that he needed, like maybe this wouldn't have been able to happen had they not been filming a show and Mary felt like, oh, I have to like something is wrong. I don't know what it is and I'm filming and I maybe
Right.
that pushed her to do it. Like I don't know. And the fact that like I think it was Ali Shapiro, Jill Zarin's daughter, was saying like he's been exploited and I know what it's like to be a kid on reality TV. I'm like, Ali, you legitimately were a teenager on reality TV. Like you were
Right.
a kid on reality TV. Like he's an adult now. Like I think it is different. I mean, he literally said, like my jaw was on the floor. He was like censoring for our YouTube and stuff listenership. But he was like, the only reason why I didn't like end things was because of you, like my mom. And it was so emotional. And he's like, I just like feel like a stain in the world. Like it was so raw and so sad. Like I don't know if I've ever seen like that was one of the most like real and jarring moments I think I've seen on reality TV in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And it just like I don't know. I don't know. I guess if people agree to do it, like can you is it exploitative? Like I don't know.
It's so, I know it is one of those things where it is so murky to like put that's her only son, is or her only
Yeah.
child. That's what I thought. It is just like murky and everything, but then you have to kind of think like maybe in this situation, like everything happened the way it was supposed to for him to get better, hopefully, and like stay better.
I know that's what I thought too cuz
But like I do see the point because even sometimes now, like I didn't think it much when I was younger, but now it's like watching some of the kids on the show, it's like I don't know, it does sometimes feel like they just shouldn't be on it even though they're adults. Because it like when it was like Kyle and Mauricio, then their
oh
daughter was like bawling, and it's like I don't feel good about watching them like filming something that's this hard for your child. I don't know, it's such a weird
it's such a weird thing because that's kind of the whole reason why we watch these shows is to see those real moments.
Mhm.
And like when we get on these manufactured things, we're like, oh my God, come on. Like this is not
Right.
even, nobody wants to see that. But then when it gets almost too real, you're like, I feel
Uh,
uncomfortable. Like shit.
like, this was just supposed to be fun.
Yeah. Like so I don't know either. And I guess maybe in a situation like this, like I think if he was like 17 or something, that would be a completely different story and maybe they wouldn't even have it on the show, but like maybe this is like the wake up call that he needed and maybe like she wouldn't have had this conversation had it not been for the show or like I don't know, like maybe it did happen the way it needed to. And also like if you are kind of hitting your rock bottom, I mean to literally be able to go back and watch a video of yourself there, like I don't maybe like is that good or bad? Like I don't know. I really don't know. Like is that showing you like I never want to get there again or is it like oh my god I'm such a loser? What's the point? Like I don't know. I don't have an answer.
I know. And I mean, there has been other, like, even when, like, Bella Hadid got her DUI, that was, like, on the show. And, like,
Mhm.
when it starts to get, like, murky with, like, substance stuff,
Yeah.
it does get a little challenging. But then also sometimes, and I know they're not the kids, but sometimes we do question too, with the substance abuse, if some of the housewives are on stuff, and how many
Yeah,
of them have like gotten sober and stuff because they've seen the way they
they
behaved,
acted.
or
Yeah,
like, and were called out on their behavior, and it starts to not be funny anymore.
I know. So is that a pro? Like, I
Right.
guess, yeah, like it. 'Cause,
It's like yes and no. Well,
yeah,
the deed never got a DUI again.
so it's fine. But it's just, I don't. And then I think that in this situation, like, it was handled really well. And like
Right.
Mary, even though she's kind of neurotic, like, you could tell how much she just loves her son so much. And she's
Right.
like, like, I will support you, but like, you have to admit you have a problem. Like, she really did an amazing job. And I think if like another parent could watch that and
Right.
like realize, like, okay, I'm not the only person going through this, or like maybe they could learn something from it. I don't know, like, that is a good thing. And then another podcast brought up how maybe like a bad way of substance abuse being brought up on reality TV was with Shay on Vanderpump, and how like
Mhm.
that was really just like not handled well at all.
No.
And it's just like it can go both ways.
Right.
And even like the Kim Richards stuff, like, that was a
Mhm.
freaking disaster.
I know. I know, I guess it too, it's like when you're sitting there and you're watching Kim and Kyle in the limo, it's not funny.
No, and it,
And
it is
then
like an
Ki
iconic moment, but it's so awful.
alcoholic. It's like, it's like then
Yeah,
it gets it's like then it's cruel, and it's a I don't even know. It's
I know.
such a weird thing where I don't know, it's like that moral gray area of that type of stuff.
I know, and then it goes into, if you are somebody who's affected by substance abuse, can you really consent to this?
Right.
And like, did people, but then if people didn't know that you were struggling with that, like, are they actually exploiting you?
Right.
It's a really complicated situation.
I know. And we were talking about this not too long ago, how like in Teen Mom and stuff, and obviously
Yeah,
those people are very young, and the way people just didn't intervene very often. Like at what point does a producer just sit there and watch Janelle Evans and her mom get in full-blown screaming
yeah,
matches and do nothing?
I
And
know.
it's like, it's just, or even, like all the dads for Teen Mom that have had substance abuse things, and they're
Mhm.
still putting them on camera and giving them a paycheck, and like
Yeah,
it's all just so. But then with the Teen Mom thing, I mean, obviously the richer they got from doing the show, more they started to do better, but it was like
mhm.
that, I mean, that scared me.
I
So
know.
it's like I don't want their in any of their lives. Like they were very stressful, and so it's like
Yeah,
in that way, I do think it would help. Like sometimes that stuff does help.
yeah, yeah, no, and I think I don't wanna say we, like, aged out of it, because we did kind of. I think, like, the OG Teen Mom crew is kind of around our age, right? Aren't they?
The Teen Mom 2 are our age.
Yeah. So we grew up with them essentially, but like,
Right.
there got to be a point where I was just like, I couldn't watch it anymore. Like, it was
Right.
just
It's a hard
too.
show.
Yeah, it was just too much. And exactly, like, I looked at their life, and obviously, like, at the time my life was different, but I'm like, damn, like, these are girls that are the same age as me, about, and they are just like going through it, and like, I just cannot consume it anymore. Like, it was just too much.
I know, and then it even like not to keep going ripping on the Teen Mom girl. So it's like when Amber like and not even just her, but other people have been on like 16 and pregnant and Teen Mom and stuff were like going to jail for different things. And
Mhm.
it's like they're still coming back different seasons and we're kind of like rewarding.
I know, it felt wrong, like, if we were watching it, it felt like we were just feeding into the cycle.
Right.
And
So
then you had
and
somebody on
I
the opposite, like Chelsea, who, like, things did end up working out for her.
right.
So it's like, well, I get that, like, there are some of them where things turned out, and like Macy turned out okay too. It's like, okay, we had some, like, good moments there, and should they still be rewarded? Like, I guess, but some of your other, like, OG crew are not doing so well, and we just keep the train moving. Like, it felt really icky.
I know, and I think it's just like that's such a weird thing with like reality TV where it's not just like a competition show, but it's like their real lives. And then it's like you learn too much and
I
then
know. Well, I wonder, just with now, I mean, things are so different, and I don't even know if a show like 16 and Pregnant would be, like, on today. Like,
right.
I don't even know. But it was just, I we didn't really think about how we were exploiting people, and those girls were so young, and it was just like, "Oh, we can make a little bit of money and, like, be on
Mhm.
an MTV show." Who doesn't wanna do that?
Right. But and it's like then there's like that good part of it too with like Caitlin and Tyler putting that baby up for adoption
Yeah,
and just like the realities of that moment and like that choice that they made when they were kids. And it's just like in that way, it was a good thing that we got to see something like that.
yeah,
But
because I didn't, I mean, until, I mean, my dad's, neighbors, like, they went through the foster system, like, with to try and get a child and stuff. But like, I didn't have any experience with somebody who had put a kid up for adoption or what that is
right.
like. And so literally seeing them do that, that was my first experience with that.
I know. And then that moment was so real and like
Yeah.
beautiful in a way. And we got to like actually see something like that. And it's just kind of insane. Like there are so many good moments of reality TV where it started conversations and it wasn't
Mhm.
all just like the devil.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, there were definitely dark moments, but there were legitimately, like, educational moments
I
too.
know. And you like hate to be like, "Cool educational
Yeah,
moments, but it's
yeah, it
like
was.
I know there's been so many times too, and as much as we've been like ripping on reality TV as of late, there was so many good different things like people would talk about, like grieving and
Mhm.
not knowing what to do with their lives. And it's like it really is cool to see that kind of like play out and like just to know somebody else is going through something that you're going through, but then it gets so clouded with all the crap drama.
Yeah, and even not even just something that you're going through, but other things too, like things that, like, I will never experience that kind of lifestyle, or I don't know anybody that goes through something like that. Like, how would I ever know what how other people live, kind of, if I didn't watch some of these reality shows? Like, even something as extreme as, like, Sister Wives. Like, I don't watch
Right.
that show, but it's like, I don't know how I would know what polygamy is like. Like,
Right. Yeah,
how
like what
would
it's
you know
truly
about
like.
that? Yeah,
I know. So it's like, I don't know. There are really good things about it,
yeah.
but there's bad too. But I mean, it is interesting. And like, even when you get these people that have kids with like different challenges and you just get to
Mhm.
like experience what they're experiencing and you get to like root for people sometimes.
Yeah.
So I guess like at the end of the day, with Mary Cosby's son, um, I don't know. I think that's really brave of them both to put that out there, and hopefully they aren't being exploited, and hopefully he gets everything, all the help, and continues on a right path.
Yeah, I know. I think overall it was really brave of them. And
So I guess we talked ourselves into being okay with it and not exploitative.
but I think that like the way that Mary is, I don't think that she would be okay with something like that unless, like she thought it was for a good reason.
Right.
I mean, because even like somebody like her, like, and I know it's like, oh, people just say she's like a cult leader or whatever, this like sham church. But like in her mind, I guess it's a real thing. But like she was so about the appearances and stuff. So I
Right.
think for somebody like her to kind of like let that curtain drop a little bit and to have something like this be so public, I mean, that to me does make me just think like, okay, like this is really real. And we do need to see these types of things because not everybody has this like picture perfect life. And even if they want you
I
to
know.
believe it, they don't have it.
I know, and I think that's what kind of happens too with like the reality TV thing. It's like when we start to hear that they're actually maybe bad people or just have like skeletons in the closet when they put on this facade on the show. So it's like
Mhm.
it's really sometimes nice to see that facade drop a little bit and
Yeah.
get to know these people really, and then you can kind of like give them a little sympathy and maybe
Yeah.
understand why they act the way they act.
Yeah. I think Mary, I don't know if she was on Watch Happens Live, if it was like the night that Salt Lake came on. I think that's Tuesdays. I don't know if it was this past Tuesday, what, but she did say that he went to rehab for 30 days and that he is doing well right now. And then that his wife also went to rehab and she's still there. So, I mean, that's good. Hopefully he continues on that path. But the other thing I just remembered, and I definitely don't want to depress us and bring us back into OC Shannon Bedore land, but I felt very vindicated. I listened to the Tuesday episode of Juicy Scoop, and for the first time, Heather was like saying stuff that we have been saying all.
McDonald, Heather McDonald.
Yes. And I was like, finally, somebody else. Like, we went through this whole season where we were the only ones saying this.
And
And
we're
then,
like, hello, I'm sorry, she's not this big victim that she said she.
yes. And finally, Heather, like, just said that and went on this big long thing. And it's like, I think it's worth a listen because you'll feel vindicated too. But she was also saying how, like, the reason why, which I don't know if we've ever said this, but like I totally agree, is that so many of the Bravo fan base are kind of like Shannon. We're like, they are
Mhm.
middle aged, they might be divorced, they probably like to drink their wine and watch Bravo. So, like,
Mhm.
to them, they might relate to Shannon a lot and see themselves in Shannon, maybe. And that's why, like, they're like, no, it's fine. Or maybe their best friend is like Shannon and they're like,
Right.
oh, I've been through that. It's like, but is it okay? Like, what are
Right.
we doing here?
I know, and again, like rewarding her with the best edit ever.
Yeah. And she actually said, I guess John Jansen did some interview, which I did see, but like I didn't know who it was with and I didn't listen to it or watch it or anything. And whoever the guy that she had on with her, I guess they both watched the interview and they both were like, he actually had some really good points. and I can see both sides in this scenario. And they were even saying with like Alexis, like they weren't acting as if she was the devil incarnate. I'm like, thank you. Like finally we're being like reasonable about this situation.
I know, it was like just annoying that it was so annoying this season. I'm not saying John was in the right or anything, but it's like at what point you're the one who like took off driving? Like at what point do you have to have responsibility here? And then the way, and I just like, I remember when I completely flipped I was already questioning, but I flipped it when she just goes to Heather and shows her this bloody
Mhm.
picture after
Mhm.
she was getting all that, like, I don't even remember what they were getting, starting to get questioned. And then she flips it
Totally
around.
manipulative. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, well, what is somebody even supposed to say to that?
Right. And then
Sorry, I'm
she
not
said
buying it.
she said about the like, oh, he heard the crash or whatever. Did he hear? Did he not? And Heather was like, you know, wouldn't like maybe he was trying to do you a favor in that moment. Like, I know that she's intoxicated. I don't want to be the one to call the cops. I don't want to cause more
Right.
issues. Like, I think he legitimately probably like didn't want to be involved at all.
I
Which
know.
like
And if all the parts were true where it was like the daughter, like, and they kind of like saw her come down and like drive away, it's like, well, you didn't really see like the full blown accident. And yeah, what were you going to do? Call the cops on her? And even I think we talked about this too. It was like, if you're mad at somebody and get in a huge fight and they take off and you're like, whatever, I guess you're gone. And then they get in a crash. I don't know if and this is bad. I mean, I hope I still would like go out there and help them, but I still might be pretty dang mad.
right, like you don't really know what you're gonna do in that situation. And
I
especially
know.
it just seemed like there was so many other factors of that night that
I
like
know.
can we give him a little bit of grace here? I know we just all want to hop on the bandwagon and hate John Jansen, but come on. Like I just think this was just the first time that I've actually heard somebody
Heard people have
publicly.
that take.
Yeah, and I was like, thank God, like seriously. And then
I thought I was going crazy.
I know, I literally was like, are we insane?
I
Like,
know. I'm like, I feel like I'm being mean and not giving her enough sympathy. But at the same time, I still feel like I was, but I just didn't buy the whole victim
yeah,
thing.
she wasn't a full victim. But she also Heather did think that Alexis should be back for another season because she thinks that she did have like stuff to offer, but her whole reason for being here was producers wanted her to be, like the auntie to Shannon. And so it's like she really didn't get a fair shot. And but like now at the end with Tamra making amends, it's like Tamra is such a producer's pet that she knows what this game is and
I
knows
know.
that like it's in her best interest, and Shannon knows it's in her best interest to make amends at this point and move forward and drop Alexis like a hot potato.
Yep.
So we've been vindicated. I want it on record. We've been saying this all season
I
long,
know. Like, hello.
but
I
yeah,
know.
I listened to it and I'm like, oh my God, yes,
I
finally.
literally finally. Did you look at your Spotify Wrapped?
Yes, I did. It's different from last year.
Did you listen? Did you listen to the AI podcast thing?
no. Did you listen to
I
yours?
felt like they were making fun of me or something. Like they're like, because it was that weird AI thing. They're like, so Hannah, guess what? Like it just felt really condescending, and I didn't appreciate it.
Yeah, I don't think anybody wants that.
No, I didn't need all those extras. I want my stats.
Yeah. And I was seeing how people were like, my top genres are gone, my top albums are gone.
Yeah.
I liked all that.
I know. I know it was not. And I just don't know if I feel like it was. I mean, maybe it's probably
I
accurate,
mean, it
but
must be accurate because it's just like literal data, but but I feel for me, like I listen to music at work all day long and it's just
yeah,
like the playlist. So many things I'm not actually actively choosing this music.
yeah.
So I felt like that really skewed my Wrapped.
I know, and I like have like my workout music, and
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Because I know, because I had that Diet Pepsi song by Addison Rae was my top song,
It was
and
your
I'm like, are you?
top song.
Yes, I was like, are you? This makes no sense. But then when I was like, what I listen to it when I work out, so it's like
Oh
not all
my
the time,
god,
but
that's crazy though.
I know I was like, that is literally insane. Like I just couldn't believe that.
Well, one of my top artists was Drake, and I'm like, Drake? Like, I don't even hardly
That's
listen to Drake anymore.
right. I know because some of this stuff is. I mean, I know a year is long. Yeah, because Juicy Scoop was in my um
Top podcasts.
yeah top podcast, but I hadn't listened. I mean, it's been months, and I feel like I listened to. Plus, I have my YouTube podcast
Yeah. No, Not
that I
Skinny But Not
do.
Fat was in my top, and I don't even know the last time I listened to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like it was. I mean,
Our
I feel like
podcast was in my top too. So
mine was ours was not in mine. I
Hannah.
had the I had the horror virgin, fluently forward, juicy scoop, scream, and watch what crappens. Which even watch what crappens, like I listened to it. I don't even listen to it that much. Like I would have swore Tiger Belly would have been in mine.
Well,
I
especially
guess.
since they have so many episodes too. It's like if you were
Yeah.
listening every other day or whatever, but like you don't listen to every episode because you don't watch all those
No.
shows.
No, I literally don't listen to it because it was like the end of Vanderpump was when because I didn't even do their full season of Vanderpump. I just did like a couple of the episodes. That's when I started. And then I
Mhm.
listened to the OC ones and then the Beverly Hills just now. I'm like, how on earth? Unless
Yeah,
I've been listening to it longer than I thought, but I was like, I don't know.
yeah.
That's when I started. It just didn't seem right that that would be in there.
It almost feels like they stopped collecting data at a certain time. Because
Yeah,
they didn't stop at in, November 30th. They stopped
right,
in, like, freaking August or something.
right.
Yeah, I don't know. There were some but I last and you know what else? They had the whole tab of, Wrapped, and I like how they usually would show what your Wrapped was for previous years, and I don't see that
Yeah.
anymore. Like, I like
No,
seeing the playlists from other years, past
I
years.
know. Hmm.
Bad, bad year for Spotify Wrapped.
We did not like you.
No.
Anywho.
Do we want to just like do like high level Beverly Hills stuff and not really go into like, I don't think we really need to go into everything.
No, because I mean, the first episode is always dumb, like for
Yeah,
anything. It's like, where have I been? Guess what? I already knew because I
I
seen it
know.
on social media.
Did you watch the most recent one? Or did you just do the
Yeah,
first
but I don't
two?
know if I finished it or not because I had it on this morning, but I don't remember if I ended up getting it done.
What do you think of the new cast member Bose?
I can't really tell yet, but I think I liked, uh, man, I don't know if it was the second episode or what, but I don't know, I think she's kind of cool. Like, she seems actually rich,
Yeah, she
which
does.
is fun.
I liked how they introduced her. Like
Yeah.
it was at like that speaking event or whatever, and we kind of just to see totally what she does and hear about her and it wasn't like, it didn't feel super forced. It felt like, okay, this is what I'm doing, and I'm gonna, like, you're gonna find out all this stuff about me, and
Right.
then we move forward. Like, I felt like, okay, now I have an idea of who she is. Whereas,
Yeah.
like, last year, it was very bad with the new cast members. So I liked it with this. I thought it was, she seems like fun, but we don't really know a lot about her. So,
No, not yet.
like, how she'll
Oh,
interact with the ladies.
I know. Also, I always take Kyle's side. I don't know why.
Hmm.
I don't feel as attached to that right now. Well, and I think my problem with Kyle too started last season when she was being like real wishy-washy about the Morgan Wade thing. And it's like, obviously, she doesn't owe us any explanation on anything. But then you can't be like cruising around with this person
No.
all over and then being really wishy-washy about the whole thing, and I like, that really rubbed me the wrong way because it was just all these innuendos, and it's like, "What are we doing? What's the point of any of this?"
Yeah.
And now she's kinda like,
We won't even talk about her now.
"No."
Yeah.
So
So the whole 3 episodes, the main storyline has been Kyle and Dorit's feud, basically, and kind of going back and forth, and new information keeps coming out, and it's all about, they're fully breaking the fourth wall and talking about, like, BravoCon and Amazon Lives and all
Mhm.
this stuff. But the last episode where they were at the like, dinner at the beach, I,
Mhm.
well, not at the beach, but they're on that trip. But I totally was more Dorit. Like, I do understand both sides of this, conflict, but I feel like Dorit is just, like, she is going through a hard time and a transitional time with the PK stuff, and I think that, like, she maybe can't, feels like she can't, like, fully find her voice with PK, so she's trying to find that within her friendships. And I do think that, like, if I thought that somebody was my really close friend and then I found out that they were saying publicly that, like, I over exaggerated our friendship,
I
like,
know,
that's
that's
so
beyond
hurtful.
hurtful. I know, I'm like, that to me, like, kinda, like, cancels out a lot of anything Dorit may have done, like, the text message thing.
Yeah,
It's like, that is just mean. Like, it's so mean, and I'd be having a hard time getting over that too, and then Kyle's kinda, like, doubling down on it too. It's
I
like, well, this,
know.
like you're like, "Okay, well, if that's how you feel, like,
Then
I'm
why
gonna
are
be
we
mad at
doing
you."
this? Yeah.
Right.
It's just, yeah, and then I'm so sick of the BravoCon thing where it's like, okay,
I know that was
clearly
clearly a
that
joke.
was in jest. Like, she
Right.
spilled the shot and she's like, well, obviously Kyle's like, it's so obvious. But
I know,
Kyle
and then
is oversensitive.
what and Kyle keeps bringing up that part, and then when Dorit is like, "No, it was a joke," she's like then Kyle is like, "No, it's all the things." And it's like,
Yeah.
"Okay, so then what are we doing here? Like, what is happening?"
Right, I know. And so I totally do see where Dorit is like, it keeps changing. She keeps changing what it is. Cause, like, she is.
It's just in hindsight, I'm mad that you
Mhm.
said that, but I was totally fine. It just doesn't even make any sense why that would even be an issue because that was clearly a joke, and it's so dumb.
I know. So I just think that, like, we know that Kyle, like, doesn't like confrontation, but she also, like, doesn't like to be wrong. Like, she hates the fact that, like, Dorit is kind of standing up to her. Like, I don't know, like, she's not really used to people doing that with her, I don't think. I mean, the last person that really did was, like, Lisa Vanderpump, and
Mhm.
we know how that turned out.
Goodbye, Kyle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
So I don't know. I
Um,
feel the same way. Like I'm leaning more towards Dorit on this
yeah.
one.
I had to laugh too because when Mauricio came in and Kyle was like showing him all the whatever stuff in the house, he was freaking glowing. Like
Oh, I
he's never been
know.
happier.
I
He
know.
has never been
He's
happier.
walking on air through that house.
He's like, you'd love my new condo. I
Yeah.
love what you've done to my office. It's like,
Yeah. What about these wallpapers? Great. I never loved anything more. Either
I know.
one. Like he was so just like, and then he's relaxed. He's drinking his energy drink. He's like,
He's
yeah, I've got towels. Who doesn't have towels? I
Eight
took
is
out my own.
fine. It's all
Yeah.
easy breezy here. And you could tell, and then Kyle was trying to be all like, well, I guess he's moved on or he's so happy. I'm like, you were running around
I
town with
know.
Morgan Wade. Like,
I
I
know.
don't even know what to say to that.
And you can tell she's so uncomfortable through that whole conversation too.
I
And but
know.
it's just like I don't know what the heck they're doing. Like
Do you think they're
you
gonna get back together?
I don't know. You're like you said, she's traipsing around with Morgan Wade like it's no big deal. And then Mauricio goes on Dancing with the Stars and has a little fling with his dancing instructor, and that's like the end of the world. Like, are you kidding me? You got matching tattoos with this woman. You're sitting in her lap. You're like openly flirting.
Making out in a music video.
Like it's just insane. But even besides that, like I guess I don't really understand, and neither of us have like been through divorces, but like isn't it kind of odd that like okay, we're going to just give each other some space and still communicate and still be like friendly, and we're just going to see what happens. It's like, does that ever work?
I was thinking that too. I'm like, and then I kept saying, I don't know. I guess if you were together that long and you kind of split amicably, like I didn't really understand. But I kept thinking that too. But, and then when she was like saying something about how she got flowers for Mother's Day, I was like, if my ex gave me flowers for Mother's Day, I'd throw those in the trash. So,
I
like, I
know.
just can't imagine being with somebody that, but maybe you get to a point when you have been with somebody that long that you could be more mature, but I just feel like I would be like stomping around.
Right.
Like
I
I
know.
would be
I
me
know.
knowing myself.
Or like maybe when your kids
Maybe
are
I could
older,
be.
it's different. I don't know. But like, I just, yeah, I can't imagine just being fine with like, oh yeah, we used to be so in love and we used to live together and be a married couple and share a life, and now we're doing our complete own thing and it's fine. It's totally
Right. I just feel like I couldn't do that.
yeah.
But again, maybe after time and like splitting the way they did, even though that was still very vague,
Yeah.
you could be, but I just don't see that long term. Like, because
Me
what if
either.
one of them gets into like a really good relationship and
I
then
think
it's like
there's just
over,
gonna be
over?
jealousy too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of funny how Kathy is so not Team Mauricio. Like
I
she
was right on the thing bashing him. I'm like, I hope they get back together.
I know. And Kyle is so uncomfortable, like, no, like he looks good. I don't want to do that. And she's like, oh, I thought you'd like that. Like, yeah.
What? I have a really hard time with Kathy Hilton though after like Paris's book.
Oh yeah.
And I just like and I don't know what her like shtick is. She sounds like a salesman. Like
I know. It's so hard because and now, I mean, what we see and what it appears to be that like she and Paris have a good relationship and stuff. but knowing like the horrors that ensued like back in the day with like, her being forced into that horrible school, and it felt like there were things that were known but were pushed under the rug, and it's like, how do you come back from that? And even some of the stuff that's been alleged on this show, it's like, is Kathy just like the most charismatic, horrible person ever?
I know. Well, you almost wonder if she is pretty evil. And I don't really know, like, because I feel like that's why I would always give sympathy to Kyle, because it would be if it felt like the sisters were ganging up on her. And, like, we've experienced people like ganging up on us.
Yeah.
And that really is crappy. And so and I still kind of feel that way when it comes to the Richard sisters. But I just feel like Kathy is I'm really questionable, and I also feel like she seems like I don't know what she's on. Not even that she has, like, any kinda issues or anything, but it's very, like,
She's a
I
little
don't even know where she
unhinged.
is.
Yeah. But I
Yeah.
kind of, at the same time, I like it though. Like the whole third episode where she's like I would, to just have a friend like Kathy Hilton where you could just reap the benefits. I mean, give me that all day long. Like I want
Right.
to go on that trip. Like it looked beautiful. And how she's
Mhm.
there like being goofy with her little sun hats. Like it was entertaining. And then like she makes me forget the horrible things that she's allegedly said.
I know. And I do, in Paris's book too, she still, like, said stuff like, my parents were still good parents and blah, blah,
Mm.
blah, blah. So she wasn't, like, ripping into her
Yeah,
parents, but I
yeah.
still just have a hard I don't know, I have a hard time with it, but I do see where she is kinda like this comedic relief in a different type of like, she's not trying to be funny, where,
Yeah.
like a Shannon is that physical slapstick comedy where Kathy Hilton is just, like, authentically being her. She's not taking the show too
Yeah,
serious,
I agree.
at least this season, and it is kinda like a little bit of a, I don't know, break
Yeah,
from
I agree. What do you think about like the Dorit and PK separation?
I think well, I still feel like he staged that break-in and traumatized her. Now he doesn't wanna deal with
I know.
what he's caused, so he's distancing himself and trying to, like, gaslight her into thinking that she's psycho, and how dare she want to take care of her children?
I know. It's like it's such a hard thing though because like I believe that he was drinking. I believe that that caused issues. I
Mhm.
also believe that, like, yeah, he was used to Dorit being kind of his arm candy and they lived this lifestyle. And, like, I totally could see her, like, making him feel less than, even if she didn't intend to do that. But it also is like, well, what do you expect? Like when you have kids, things do change. And obviously, well, maybe not obviously, because we've heard that there are like financial issues, but like, they seem as though they're in the position where they could just like hire nannies all the time. But like, is that the way that you want to do that? Like, you want to have young kids at home while you both just traipse around and go to business meetings and like I don't know. I could see why Dorit wouldn't want to do that anymore.
Right, and their kids are still little, so it's
Yeah,
like things will change the older the kids get, and it's kind of a shame that he's, like, making her feel bad about that.
I know. I
And
can see where
in it
he's coming
right,
from with wanting it to be like a real separation. Like just that in between thing of like, we're
yes,
talking constantly, like, why? Like, let's
right.
talk about the kids. Let's live separately if that's what we're choosing to do. Like, I don't like that weird in between because I don't think it's helpful for anybody.
Right, and then he moved out or whatever, and then seemed upset about that, which
Yeah.
I guess if you're in, like, a mega mansion, you probably both could live there, but I do think, like, if you're split up, that's break from each other, not
Yeah.
being in the same room together would be a lot more beneficial, but
But it's like we're getting little tidbits, and sometimes with Dorit, I don't really know what to fully believe because I do feel like she can be kind of just like exaggerate things too.
right,
So when she's saying that like he was never around and I just, made up kind of excuses with the kids and whatnot, and we'd get in a fight and he'd be gone for 2 weeks. It's like, would he really? Like, I don't know.
well, and it kinda seems like that's probably, like, the arrangement that they had too.
Anyway.
Right, where you're the young hot thing that's very charismatic and he can take you places and it works out really good. Like, I don't think I just don't feel like I don't know if you that's kind of like reap what you sow. Like you knew if you
Yeah.
got with the rich guy like that, that
But
that was kind of going to be the arrangement.
yeah,
So,
and we kind of saw the tides turning and things changing. Wasn't that last season with the whole Pretty Woman thing where he
yeah,
like did this whole thing and then she's like, I don't like this basically. And then he's like, well then I just won't do these surprises for you anymore. Like to
right,
me watching that, I'm like, this is a shift. Like they used to do these types of things all the time, and Dorit loved it. And
right,
now, she's changing for whatever reason, if it has to do with the kids or something else. And he's kind of like, hold on, like this is the way things always were.
right.
I don't know. So I don't really foresee them getting back together. Do you?
No, I feel like it's going to get uglier.
Yeah. Yeah. And then when I did like a little peek behind the curtain again when he at the restaurant when they had dinner and he was like, if we spoke to the waiter the way we speak to each other, we'd get thrown out of this place. And I was like, what's going on at home? What are you
That's a very,
saying?
like, self-aware thing to say too.
Yeah,
Like, it really puts things in perspective. You're like, "If I said this to anybody else,
I
I'd
know.
be donezo."
Which is just crazy. Like, yeah, I mean, that's not the way a partnership goes, and a husband and wife should be speaking to each other. Like, holy
Mhm.
cow. So, I don't know. Everything that's going on with Garcelle, I guess I don't really care about, honestly. Like, it's fine, but it's just kind of whatever. Like I don't dislike Garcelle. I didn't like how at the if I don't know if you saw that at the end of the third episode where she tries to chime in on the Dorit Kyle thing and be like, "Well, I don't agree, Dorit. Basically, like you don't apologize." And Dorit's like, "Well, I wouldn't expect any other side than that from you because we don't get along." It's like this isn't
Right.
your fight, Garcelle. Like just stay out of it. Um, but I did think it was kind of funny in the bus ride to the beach when they were like, okay, let's play the game. Like, who's the most famous person that you went on a date with? And Garcelle's like, I don't know, like Will Smith, Eddie Murphy, Sean Penn. I was like, excuse And then whoever was it Erica that said it into the confessional, like, you went on a date with all these people and then married who you married? What the heck? I thought that was
Yeah,
funny.
because those people that she named off are pretty awful.
Yeah,
So,
right.
I think she made the right choice.
Even though it didn't turn out well for her at
No.
all. Yeah. And then Sutton, I don't know, she doesn't really have a storyline right now besides just Jennifer Tilly.
No, nobody's getting a storyline right now except for Kyle and
Yeah.
Dorit.
The thing I wrote, I was funny when I was writing my notes for episode 3, and they're getting ready to go on the beach trip, and Jennifer Tilly comes in with those Louis Vuitton like bags, and
Yeah.
Erica's
boat.
like, I know how expensive those are, and the little boat bag was like 33,000 or something insane, and I was like, how is she this rich? Well, not 20 minutes later, we
I
find
know.
out
We found
her
like, get it, girl.
ex-husband was part of the Simpsons, so she gets all those royalties. Like, you are joking me.
I know, it's like literally insane.
Like, the
Good for
best
her.
case scenario you could possibly be in. Yeah.
Good for you. We
Wow.
get it now. I know, just at that alone, I'm like, okay, I get this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get
'Cause
what's happening
I
here.
was really confused there. I was like, I don't like, I know she's famous, but not that famous.
I know. I didn't know she was like rolling with the high rollers. Now
Yeah.
it makes
She's a
sense. I'm like,
professional poker player,
hmm.
she said too. I was like, what's going on? And then
See, that I knew about her, but I didn't know
the
the
Simpsons
Simpsons
thing.
thing at all.
That
Like,
puts it
dang.
all into perspective. And then I don't know. Yeah, there's not a lot going on with Erica right now either, except I think we said this last week just in passing that she's being like a really good middle person right now. And I feel like
Yeah.
I feel like Erica is actually the only one that's a real good friend.
Right now, yeah.
Yeah. Like she's not, her intentions right now aren't to like stab people in the back or like talk bad. Like even between the Kyle and Dorit stuff, she's like, I can see both sides. I don't blame, this one or that one. Like she's not talking out of both sides of her mouth.
Right.
But I don't know, is there anything else that you thought was like funny or notable from the first few episodes?
No.
Yeah. It's just all been Kyle and Dorit basically, so mostly
Mhm.
Kyle. But I don't know. It's entertaining, I suppose. So we'll just see how it goes.
Mhm.
Do you have a recommendation?
I'm gonna recommend Trader Joe's food again.
We
They
can't.
have like they have like the meat that's like already seasoned, like in the
Oh,
packaging.
yeah.
And I got the tomato basil or something like that chicken one and I got some other ones, but I haven't made them yet. And my kids gobbled those down.
Really?
They ate basically the whole thing.
Oh my gosh.
I know, so
And
kid approved.
that is not typical of your oldest.
Well, he's had quite the turnaround. He's been eating
Good.
very well. So I think we just had to get through 5 years and we're good now.
Well,
Of course,
now
I did have this. My mom made this soup and like we froze a bunch of it, and he was like acting as though he was gagging on it. But still ate it. But he was like, "Oh, oh, oh." But he ate it, so don't care.
his little body's probably just like growing so much now that
I
he's like,
know.
I can't deny this anymore.
Yeah, he even asks for seconds. I mean, he's doing really good right now. So
Growth spurt.
loves it.
I'm gonna recommend a Bath and Body Works candle. It is pink lavender espresso, and I don't
Oh, I
really.
have that
Do
one.
you really? Have you burned it?
Mhm.
It's so good,
It is.
and I
It's like
don't.
you wouldn't expect that
Yes,
from
because
that scent.
I don't love their coffee scents. Like that's just not one that I typically gravitate towards. But when I smelled this one, I was like, "Oh my god, this is so good." It's so cozy feeling.
It is. It's a perfect like wintry
Yeah,
smell.
I love it. So hopefully I want to get like another one. I don't know if this is one that they've had before. I don't know if I've ever seen it or not, but I got it this season and I really like it.
Yes.
All right. Well, on that note, I guess we will wrap this up. And don't forget to follow us and listen and give us ratings and nice reviews. And yeah, we just would really appreciate that, especially going into a new year, just giving us support. And thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.